Hello, good morning, happy Monday to you. Hope you're off to a good start to the Monday. Firstly, I always appreciate that you choose to listen to me on a Monday morning. If you do. If you listen to me on a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, well then fuck you. Nah, kidding. I appreciate you regardless if you're listening to me. But for those of you that tune in every Monday to want to listen, look, I am so grateful. Hey, I was just thinking about this morning. I'm like the people, well, you guys, the ones that are listening, the fact that, you value what I have to say, and you get things that are insightful, and that you take my advice and you put it into play and you share my stuff. Like, this just makes me so grateful for me being able to do something that I really enjoy, and the fact that you can listen to me speak shit and spend some time with you in the car, in the gym, wherever it is. And I hope that I do make you laugh a little bit, especially in the gym, so you look like a bit of a dickhead when you're laughing out loud. So in today's podcast, we're going to be talking about focusing on habits instead of goals, because everyone wants to focus on the end goal and everyone forgets why the fucking habits matter the most. All right. So firstly, let's just talk about goals themselves, because what you need to do first when you have a goal is to be specific with the goal that you're trying to achieve. You know the SMART acronym: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time bound. Like, yes, but also no. Like, I like to use a bit of that, but also it's a bit silly when you think about it. Like, when you think about like what those things are, like, specific, measurable. Okay, here we can measure it. It's specific. What's A? Now I'm having a specific, measurable, attainable. It's like measurable, attainable, and realistic. Like, aren't they the same thing? Like, why would you set an unrealistic goal that you can't attain? Or if you can attain a goal, it's realistic, correct? I don't understand that. So yeah, it's kind of like a weird thing. But anyways, regarding that, we're going to do a little bit of SMART acronym. We're going to do a little bit of, take a little bit of advice from the acronyms. Jesus, I'm all pepped up on coffee this morning. So we're going to start with being specific with the goal. The reason we need to be specific is because we need to know exactly what we're working towards. Now, the issue that people set with specific goals is they choose weight as a specific goal. The reason having weight as a specific goal is because weight doesn't determine anything, okay? Let's say you want to lose 20 kilos. You can do that in a very unhealthy way, manipulate your water, manipulate certain things to get there quickly. Does that mean you're going to look good 20 kilos later? Potentially, potentially not. So I don't like the goal of having a weight goal, because it's not going to, well, it's just not, again, it's just not a good specific goal. And I don't think weight makes anyone happy. Because I could ask you right now, if you're the exact same weight that you are right now, and if you're a female, you're smaller, like let's say 2 dress sizes smaller, and you're looking to diet, you'd probably be happy even if you're the same weight, correct? If you're a male, if you're the same weight, but you were now an extra large in the shirt because your sleeves didn't fit your arms, but you were slim in the waist, you'd probably also be happy, right? That's why I buy small, medium shirts so your arms pop out. No, but seriously, like, this is why weight's such a dumb thing to have as a goal, because you just look at someone who's 90 kilos, and who's overweight, and look at someone who's 90 kilos that is fit and lean, okay? They still weigh the same, they just look completely different. So we're not trying to look at exact body weights here, or body fat goals either. I don't like body fat being a goal either, because it's like, again, it's like, well, firstly, you're never actually going to know what your exact body fat is. Secondly, that's not going to change anything. Like, when you achieve this body fat goal or this body weight goal, what is that going to do for you? Really? Like, what's it going to do? Fucking nothing, man. Like, you think you're going to have fucking enjoy life for the rest of your life? No. Most people actually hit their weight goal and realize they're like, oh, actually, like, now I don't know what to do. And it's like, exactly. So we don't want to have body weight or body fat goals as our specific goals. Instead, your specific goal can actually be a dress size if you're a female, if you want, or like, a clothing size, whatever it wants to be, because that's not going to determine weight at all. Okay. You're like, I want to fit into this. Cool. Or you're like, you know what? I want to be confident when I walk on the beach and not feel like that I'm spilling over in my clothes. Fantastic. Like, that's actually realistic. That's a specific goal, because you're working towards something. You don't have an exact body weight or body fat you need to get to. You're just going to know, because you're going to feel good with what you've worked for. Okay. As a guy, you're like, oh, I want to grow more muscle. Okay. But when you have that, that's quite general. Like, I want to grow more muscle. If you're a female, like, again, this is not gender specific. If you're a female and you say the same thing, I want to grow more muscle. Like, what does that actually mean? Okay. You have to be specific, because I can say, yeah, I want to gain muscle. And it's like, Okay, but what does that mean to you? Because you have a picture in your head about what that means. You have to be specific, because the more specific we are with certain, like with this type of stuff, we know exactly where we're moving towards and what direction we're going. You know, like where it's like, I want to go to Victoria. Okay, we're in Victoria. Oh, well, I just want to go to Victoria. So it's like, right, well, we crossed the border from New South Wales to Victoria. You're in Victoria. Now what? Well, you know, you're like, oh, actually, no, I want to go to St. Kilda in Melbourne. That's where I want to go. Okay, now you have a specific destination in place. Now we know how to get there. Because again, if you want to go to Victoria, am I going to go inland? Am I going to go down the coast? What am I going to do? Like, where do you want to go? Same thing. Like, you're like, I want to do something like I want to be healthy. Well, fuck, man. Health is different things to different people. What does healthy mean to you? Not like, I need to have this and this and this. Like, it's just like, have some things that you can measure that you know you're on the right track. So for me, I want to be healthy. And what does healthy mean to me? A low resting heart rate of below 60 every night, right? When I go to sleep, I want it below 60. That's health to me. Having a healthy range of blood pressure. So I know for me, that's under 120 over 60. 120 over 80. What else do I determine for myself as health? Having a VO2 max of at least 50 milliliters per kilogram. So I had these criteria things that I need to work towards that I'm trying to do, you know, like I'm like, okay, if my blood pressure is good, I'm in a good health range. If my resting heart rate's low, I'm in a good health range. If my VO2 max being tested is where I want it to be, I'm in a great health range, you know. These are my criteria that I also, you know, that I focus on. So knowing these things, I'm working towards them. Because if I just said, I want to be healthy, well, like, how do I know if I'm healthy or not? Like, do I feel healthy today? Yeah, I feel healthy tomorrow. But then tomorrow I wake up and I'm like, I don't feel healthy today. What's the fucking difference? Also, health to me, good health is when I go and get my blood test done, then all my blood pressure, all my blood tests are in good ranges, okay? Like, I have my criteria for what health is, that's what I work towards. So again, if your goal is to be healthy, what does that mean for you? You want to run up a flight of stairs without getting out of breath, you know? You want to be able to do a 5K run, you know? You want to be able to run 5Ks without stopping. There's no right or wrong here. It's you've got to pick what you want. Like, whatever you determine it is. So again, if it's a body composition goal, don't have a body weight, don't have a body fat. Think about something else. Again, is it like a clothing size? Is it wanting to fit into old clothing? Is it wanting to feel confident with your shirt off? You know, because again, you're going to be able to determine that. It's not like once we hit here, you're going to feel good with your shirt off. It's like you're going to get to a point where you're like, I feel confident having sex with someone with the lights on. I feel confident taking my shirt off at the beach. I feel confident wearing a singlet outside and feeling good and showing my arms off. You know, you're gonna be like, you look at yourself in the mirror like, oh fuck, this looks all right, you know? So be specific with your goals. What I actually want you to do, if you can, pause this for a second, give yourself 30 seconds and write like, you know, what your goal is basically, and then think about some specifics if you can. If not, make a note to do this, because people are just driving for the sake of driving and not knowing where they're going, you know? And for me, when I get clients who come on board and, you know, we go through their goals and stuff, I'll look at like what they say, but I'm like, what's actually important to you? And like one of the biggest things I ask, especially when it comes to their nutrition, because a lot of people are like, oh, you know, I want to lose weight. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, I get that. You want to be healthier? Yeah, okay, cool. But like, what does that look like? What does your health look like in a week? Like, what does looking after your health look like in regards to how many days you go to the gym, okay? What's your exercise routine look like? What does balance look like to you? Are you going out with your partner once a week for dinner, you know, or for breakfast or whatever it's going to be? Are you having, you know, drinks every second weekend instead of every week? Like, because when you know the criteria you're working towards, then it makes it so much easier, because when they're trying to diet, I'm still trying to encourage them. Not obviously go eat every weekend, not go fucking get shit-faced, but it's like we want to try and keep these things in, because then they're practicing what they want for the long term. We're mapping that all out. And the better the idea I get about what that looks like to them, it's easier for me to put a strategy into place, you know? I'm not like, oh, well, you're not going to go out for dinner. And they're like, but I want to be able to do that for the long term with my partner. Like, why don't I teach them how to manage their dinner while they're in a dieting phase? Because then guess what? It's way easier when they're not trying to diet, but also when they diet in the future, they know how to still make good choices, okay? I've got another client. She is quite social. You know, she has a lot of stuff going on, a lot of work, drinks and things like that. And I said to her, look, you know, your progress is going to be slower because I want to show you how you can work around these things. And while progress has been slower, which I'm not fussed about. I'm not in a rush for anyone's progress, right? Her progress is slower, and she's okay with that because she's like, I'm not letting one day turn into 2 bad days. I'm not letting this whole week get written off because I've got social things on. I'm still showing up for the gym because it feels good to be in routine. She's like, I've never felt like this, where I've even had weekends. She went to the Blue Mountains. She's like, I had a weekend away with my with family who was visiting. We enjoyed some food, but I got back and I was so happy that I wanted to be back in routine on Monday. And I'm like, fuck yes, that's what you want. Like, that's what a healthy lifestyle is to her, that she can have those flexible times, you know? She's gonna see a little bit of progress, a little bit slower progress while dieting, but she's gonna get the results she wants while learning how to implement this. And this is what I love. This is why I enjoy coaching too, because the more I get people specific with their goals, the better it is for me. So if you do struggle with this and you need some guidance with the coaching, then send me a message, because that's what I'm here for. You know, my coaching is to help people create that ideal lifestyle for themselves. Right? So if you can't do it now, go do the specific stuff later, write it down. After you are specific, then we're gonna look at habits instead of that end goal that you wanna work towards, okay? So again, you're like, oh, I wanna be, let's say 2 clothing sizes lower. Fair enough, which means you're gonna have to be in a calorie deficit and lose some weight, right? We just know that. How much weight you need to lose doesn't fucking matter. We're not focusing on an exact amount of weight you need to lose. We're focusing on you need to just lose body fat in order to fit into these clothes. So then we focus on habits that you can do every day. Because when we build these things up every day, these habits are what lead you to the outcome of the goal. And this is why when I get clients to look at their when I do the check-in with clients, I ask them to rate their week on a scale of 1 to 10. And on the top of that sheet, I say, do not rate it based on your weight. Okay? Because that's not what you rate your progress with. You're not being like, oh, I didn't see any weight loss this week, so I'm not progressing. That's not what we're fucking focusing on. We're focusing on daily habits, because when you start to implement things day after day, the things we're trying to focus on, when I say healthy habits, they move you closer towards the goal, just because those things are supportive of losing weight, reducing hunger, improving your overall health. Like, all these things are just what happens, and the byproduct is getting healthier, getting leaner, getting fitter, looking better, all these things. So we're trying to focus on the process, okay? Not the end goal. And when people start to learn to focus on the day-to-day stuff, you're actually happier ticking things off and being better every day, okay? For any of you that have played a video game before, I assume most of you have, especially if it's a role-playing game, where you have to build up your character. You know, you start with, like, I don't know if anyone remembers RuneScape. With RuneScape, you know, you'd start with, like, basically level 1 everything, and then you'd have to, you know, you increase your strength, your dexterity, your speed, all these type of things, right? Your cooking skill, all that stuff. You kind of look at yourself like a character, where it's like every day you're doing these things to increase technically your skill. All right. And the better you get at this stuff, the better you are as a person, and the closer you're moving towards those goals. And so, you know, every time you like level up, you're like, oh, fuck yeah, I got another level up, which is good. And you get excited for it. And that's what I'm like sitting up and like getting excited as I'm talking about this now. And it's like, this is what we want to focus on, like, you know, trying to level yourself up by ticking off these things that move you towards the goal you're after. Okay. So for me, when I ask the clients to review their week, it's like, did you tick off the habits that are important to move you forwards? And what are those habits? These are the good enough habits that I talk about. First is movement, okay? Movement's important. I'm not talking about going to the gym every day. I'm talking about movement, getting your steps in, aiming for 8,000. These are like, I want you guys to think about, like, these are daily habits I'm telling you to implement, that I tell my clients to implement, because these are just things that I know, and we all know these are good habits based on people who have lost weight, kept weight off. Number 1 is movement, okay? So again, it's not just the gym, it's moving. It's aiming for 8,000 steps at least a day. Can you do more steps? Absolutely. But ideally, aim for 8,000 steps a day minimum. Why 8,000 steps? Well, that's kind of the benchmark we see when you start to reduce your overall sedentary behavior. You're going to be more health seeking. You're going to prevent the sedentary outcomes, the negative sedentary lifestyle behaviors that happen with lower steps. And so 8,000 is that number, okay? Reference, 1,000 steps is 10 minutes of walking. 8,000 steps is 18 minutes of walking throughout the day. Not in one big walk. You can add it up whenever. You break this stuff up, okay? You can do like 8 10-minute walks. You can do 20 16-minute walks. Is that right? No, that's wrong. 20 16-minute walks, fuck's sake. You can do, if I just said 8 10-minute walks, it would be 16 5-minute walks, I should say, or it could be 4 20-minute walks. It could just be walking, like, throughout the day, bits in here and there. Like, there's heaps of ways you can increase your steps, okay? Wherever you are now, if you're not hitting 8,000 steps, just work on adding in an extra 10 minutes a day or 2 5-minute slots a day. This isn't about perfection. This is about building you up. And that's your first habit you want to tick off, okay? Download the app called Habit. It's just called Habit. You download it, you can tick that off every day, okay? Because what I want to see, I want you guys to see what consistency looks like and how it moves you forwards on a daily basis, all right? So 8,000 steps is the goal. If you're not there, work up. If you're getting 3,000, work to 4,000. If you're at 4,000, work to 5,000. Do not aim straight for 8,000 if it's hard, okay? Aim for the most realistic thing possible. It's gonna move you a little bit outside of your comfort zone, so you actually have to mentally think about, I'm gonna go for a 10-minute walk. Bump it up to there, get it every single day. Let's say you've been doing 4,000, you're up to 5,000. It takes you 2 weeks to get 14 days of 5,000 steps every single day. Fantastic. Now you can bump it up to 6,000, all right? You don't go, I'm doing 4,000, now I'm up to 5,000, now I'm going to 8,000. Like, that's another 3,000 steps a day. That's another 30 minutes of activity. Do you have that within your day? Maybe, maybe not. You gotta figure out how this is gonna work out, all right? It's not about nailing this from the get-go. It's not like, oh, well, yeah, I'm doing this habit straight away, because when people try and do too many things at once, guess what happens? It fucking falls apart. We don't want you falling apart here. I want you to make successful changes. I want you to keep I want you to keep the changes you make and make you successful. These changes are small, they are simple, but they're fucking important, all right? When you're in between sets, go for a walk. Actually, I'm gonna write that down. I forgot to make that a little episode note. Walk between sets is a good one. So walk between sets, I'm gonna type this down. Every time you're resting, you've got, 60 to 90 seconds rest. In the meantime, go and get some steps in. That adds up to, let's say you do a quick walk up and down. So it's 90 steps each time. Nothing crazy, but guess what? If you were doing 6 exercises, so you're doing 18 sets, all right? And you're getting roughly, let's say 90 per walk. That's an extra, 1,600 steps right there. Boom, done, Before you go into a workout, maybe you do a 10-minute walk on the treadmill. Another 1,000 steps there. Think about how you can slowly increment those steps, okay? Movement is so fucking important. And people are like, oh, what do I focus on? Do I focus on the gym? Do I focus on my steps? Look, it shouldn't be one or the other, okay? You want try and again, ideally get them both in if you can. Steps for me, I'm go for a walk and get moving. If you're at the gym, try and add in those steps. And it's if you get 6,000 steps and you still go to the gym, fucking great. Okay, cool. I'm not fussed about that. But try not to fall into this either or approach. If it's you're getting steps 6 days a week of 8,000, and then maybe the day you go to the gym, you only get 6,000, that's fine, all right? I wanna try and incorporate both here, but we're focusing on movement with steps. I talked about this stuff before, but literally, it's funny because I say this stuff and people are yeah, but then you don't fucking do it. So I'm yeah, it's simple, but you're not fucking doing the stuff that you should do to actually get your results. Just because something's simple doesn't mean it's easy, okay? And the funny thing is, it is this simple. It's just repeating it again and again and again. Movement. Number 2, protein. 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, all right? Start with 1.6. Everyone should be able to hit that. If you're 100 kilos, that's 160 grams. If you're 60 kilos, that's 100 and... I think it's 100 and... it's 100 grams. It's 100 grams, right? Anyone should be able to hit their minimum 1.6 grams. What you should try and do, when you get that minimum of 1.6 grams per kilogram body weight, all you have to do from there is increase your protein portion size to get you close to that 2 grams per kilogram. So if for the morning you're having 1 YoPro to get your 30 grams of protein, let's say. Is it 30 grams? No, it's 17 grams, I think, 15 grams. I've thrown myself off. Let's say you have 2 all of a sudden. You've just gone up to double that. Let's say you're having 100 grams of chicken at lunch. Go to 150 or 200 grams. Same thing for dinner. You just increase your overall amount of protein. Let's say you're having a protein shake in the afternoon and you're having 1 scoop. Have 1.5 scoops. Little ways to increase your protein is just simply by increasing that protein amount. You don't have to rechange your whole meal. You don't have to throw everything out and start again. It's like, just work on increasing your protein amount, okay? But aim for the minimum, 1.6 grams per kilogram body weight. Remember, total protein matters most. People are like, oh, I want to spread it out so I get 30 grams here, 30 grams there. Yeah, sure. Ideally, if you can do that, fantastic. But get total protein in first. What I would say, do not focus on trying to spread out your protein until you're getting 2 grams per kilogram body weight. Small wins, all right? Small wins to start off with. After protein, we move to veggies. 3 to 5 servings of veggies a day. A serving of veggies is about a fistful or 1 cup, which is 75 grams. Ideally, you should be having 350, 375-ish grams a day. People can't even fucking get 3 servings of veggies in a day, you know? Learn to get veggies in. Start small with veggies. It's easy. If you're not getting 1 serving in a day, start at 1 serving. Because like, this is what I'm trying to give you guys an idea here with, you know? It's always about building up. You never have to go for the highest rung, because guess what? You probably haven't fucking done the stuff that we're talking about. And you're like, oh, well, here's me failing my 5 servings of veggies. Well then, why don't you start at 1 serving of veggies a day? Fuck's sake. Put the ego down. Stop listening to every dumb cunt. 75 hard, you gotta do this. You gotta add in all these things. You don't want it bad enough. It's like, okay, well, hang on. Let's think about this. You're telling people who are fucking, like, you guys gotta think, for you listening, your life is different to my life. Like, this is my job. Like, I take time out of my day on a Tuesday to record podcasts, all right? Because I choose to do it, because I get the freedom to. None of you are like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna take fucking, you know, I'm gonna take an hour out of my day to record a podcast randomly. Like, no, you've got a job, you probably have kids, you're fucking working long hours, you probably got to commute to work, you're trying to fucking figure out everything else in life, and then you're like getting told, oh, you got to get all this in, you got to grind, you got to do this, you don't want it bad enough, and you're like, okay, like, you're feeling so shit about your health when you're fucking dealing with so many other things. So it's like, before you listen to all the dumb cunts out there who are telling you these things, listen to me and listen good. Start small and build your way up. Where you are in your career, whether you're at the bottom, you know, whether you've moved up, you didn't start at the fucking top. And maybe you did, but guess what? You probably learned some shit before you went to the top. There's a reason you go to uni to learn, then you go into a career, if you went to a career that requires university. There's a reason you do an apprenticeship before you're a tradie. When I was doing my truck mechanic apprenticeship, guess what? I didn't go fucking be like, hey, I got this, boys, don't worry about it. I've been told that you got to go all in, 75 hard days. I'm going to be making sure that I fix all these trucks by myself with having no fucking knowledge at all. Like, what the hell, man? Everything takes time to build up, all right? Like, you get asked to give you a fucking left-handed screwdriver and then you're like, oh, there's no such thing as a left-handed screwdriver. I feel like a fucking idiot. You start small. You start with things you don't know about. 1 serving of veggies a day, all right? From there, add 2. As in, add an extra serving, so it's 2 a day. Do not pass go until you can nail these consistently. Don't aim for 3 if you can't eat 1. Like, for fuck's sake. I keep repeating this, but people just keep doing shit. I just see it all the time. Like, oh, hey, I can't stick to this. I'm like, oh, did you try this? No, because I just wanted to give this a go. I'm like, oh, well, like, what do you expect? You know? I don't understand. Just start small. Nothing wrong with being patient and moving things up in the right direction, you know? So maybe you start with a serving at lunch. Any veggie you want. I don't give a shit what veggie you choose. Potatoes, choose fucking potatoes, okay? As long as you're getting some type of fucking veggies in. Before I'd be like, I used to tell people, nah, you know, no one's short of potatoes, which is true. No one's struggling to get potatoes in. But if it's the only fucking vegetable you're gonna eat some damn potatoes. I would rather you eat them than eat nothing, okay? Start with 1 at lunch or 1 at dinner. Next, add it to the opposite other meal. So maybe start with 1 at lunch, then you add 1 to dinner, or vice versa. Then you just increase the portion sizes from there. Again, we build it up over time. What veggies do you choose? Any that you can eat, okay? Just please, just find, like, there are so many fucking veggies out there. When people say, oh, I don't like veggies. Oh, okay. I will drag your ass to the supermarket and fucking buy every single vegetable there is, and I bet you haven't tried them all, okay? You've probably tried, like, what, fucking 6 vegetables? Oh, I don't like broccoli, I don't like cauliflower, I don't like carrots, I don't like pumpkin. Okay. What about the rest of them? Oh, no, I just don't like veggies. All right, so you never tasted them. Oh, no. What about eggplant? Some people are already going to be listening and go, oh, eggplant. Oh, yuck. I don't want to eat that. You never even fucking tried it, man. Like, this is the thing. People are like, oh, yuck. I don't want to try that. Have you ever tried it? It's the same thing that happens when you're a kid, you know? Your parents are like, hey, try this. She's like, no, I don't want to try it. I don't want it. And your parents are like, just try it. Like, fuck's sake, man. You're adults. You're not fucking children. And you know what's funny? Even with children, they will try something because you make them. Otherwise, they're not leaving the table. Some of you got away with that bullshit and got to eat whatever the fuck you wanted. And now you're a picky eater and complaining about the fucking taste of veggies. You'll go smash tequila on the weekends or do shots of vodka. Things that taste like they're going to fucking erode your throat. You're like, oh, I don't want to eat veggies. Oh yeah, but you did 6 shots of tequila on the weekend. Okay, that makes sense. Your fucking throat is burning. No one drinks alcohol for pleasure unless you're having a cocktail. No one's being like, yeah, tequila, fuck, that tastes amazing. No. But you'll fucking do that and you'll pay the excessive amount of money for it, yet you won't even fucking try different types of veggies. Jesus Christ, people. All right? So go and try veggies. You just try one, you know? If you find only certain ones that you enjoy, stick to them. If you can find other ones, try other ones, okay? But if there's only like a handful that you'll try, if you're like, I only eat peas, I only eat beans, I only eat cucumber, I only eat mushrooms, and I only eat onion, okay, cool. That's what you're gonna eat. Well then guess what? You fucking better eat them, all right? That's it, veggies. And then finally, fruit. Same thing, getting 1 serving of fruit a day, up to 2 to 3 servings a day. Fruit is not bad for you. The sugar's not gonna fucking kill you. Out of all things, no one's getting fucking obese from fruit, okay? No one's calling me up being like, hey Tyson, I need some coaching. I'm like, yeah, what's happening? Well, look, I just started eating some fruit and then all of a sudden I just can't stop. I'm addicted to fruit. You know, it's making me gain all this weight, all this sugar from the fruit. I thought it was KFC. It wasn't the KFC. It wasn't the drinking on the weekend. It wasn't all the takeaway. It's this fruit. It's got control over me. I'm like, oh shit, man, we need to get you off those bananas ASAP because this is not good. You know, that sugar in the fruit, man. Fuck, you're right. You keep the KFC. You keep that drinking on the weekend. You keep those kebabs in because that's not the issue. It's the fruit. For fuck's sake, it's not the fruit. So 1 to 3 servings a day. Start with 1. Pick a fruit, same thing, same as veggies. Pick a fruit you can tolerate. If you only eat bananas, well then guess what? You better fucking eat a banana a day, okay? Find something you enjoy. I like pears. I love pears. I love grapes when they're not fucking $12 a bag. You know, find fruit you enjoy, add it in as a snack first. Everyone's like, oh, I get snackish at 3 p.m. Well, instead of going for a fucking chocolate bar, have a piece of fruit for Christ's sake. All right, swap the habit. Where else you add in fruit? Have it as another snack. Have it as dessert. Have it as breakfast with some yogurt. Wherever you want to add it in. But just have it as a snack first. It's a very easy swap out for a shitty snack you usually have. It'll keep you fuller for longer. It's full of fiber. It tastes good. It's got a bit of sweetness to it. All right? So we've got 4 habits to focus on every day that I've talked to you about. We've got movement, protein, fruits, veggies. When you start to move more, you increase your overall calorie expenditure. Okay? When you increase your overall calorie expenditure, by and large, you're burning more calories, all right? When you add more protein into your diet, you are increasing your satiety and decreasing your hunger, which means you are fuller for longer. When you are adding vegetables in, you are increasing the volume of your meal. When you increase the volume of your meal, you're gonna be fuller quicker. Not only that, vegetables contain fiber, which means it'll slow down digestion, which will also keep you fuller for longer. The same thing happens with fruit. You add in fruit, you add in fiber. You add in fiber, you slow down digestion, you keep yourself fuller for longer. Now, we think about this. You're doing steps every day, you're eating protein, fruits, and veggies. What's gonna happen? You're gonna be increasing those calories, not by a huge amount, but you're gonna be increasing your calorie expenditure. While doing this, your calorie intake most likely is gonna go down because when you're having protein, when you're having fruits and veggies, you're going to be full, all right? Maybe you just stop snacking at that 3 p.m. mark because you're actually eating a proper lunch instead of some bullshit Chico roll or a fucking, oat or a dare iced coffee and that's all you have. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm not overeating at 3 p.m. anymore. And then maybe because you're eating, actual, again, fruits and veggies or whatever you're gonna be having, or protein, and it comes to dinner, you have that at dinner again, you're not looking for a snack afterwards because you're not eating 3/5 of fuck all, or again, you're not having KFC that's not gonna fill you up, or Macca's or whatever it is, because you're choosing these good choices. So what we're actually looking at here is just focusing on these habits. By and large, they're going to change your behaviors, all right? When you start to eat better, you just start to think about making better choices overall, you know? Again, your cravings are probably gonna go down for certain foods. You're probably not gonna choose easy to snack foods because you're actually not as hungry. You're moving more, which funnily enough, when you actually have an increase in movement, not by doing huge amounts, but when you increase your movement overall, you actually are able to manage your hunger and satiety better than actually being sedentary. When you're sedentary, your hunger is all out of whack. When you're exercising too much, your appetite is also increased because you're just expending a huge amount of calories. But when you are when you're in a good range of moving every day, not by ridiculous amounts, 8 to 16,000 steps a day, which is a big range, your appetite is better regulated. So by that, in part, you move more, you increase your protein intake, you increase your fruit and veggies, you manage your satiety. That in itself most likely means you'll eat less calories. When you're eating less calories and you're burning more calories, you are now creating a calorie deficit. You know what happens when you create a calorie deficit? You start to lose weight. When you start to lose weight, you move towards the goal you want to move towards by focusing on habits, okay? Which is good because it's like we're not focusing on the goal, we're focusing on those habits. And the more consistent you are, we're focusing on those behaviors, and then the more consistent you are, they turn into habits because they're not going to be habits immediately. But the goal is to make them habits. So when you sit down for each meal, you're not thinking, oh, what do I feel like now? Like, am I going to go and get a toasty or whatever? You think, where's my protein? Where's my fruit? Where's my veggies? Oh, I feel like a snack. I'm going to go get an apple. Instead of thinking, I feel like a snack. I'm going to get a chocolate bar. Is this going to change everything forever? And you're never going to think about having a chocolate bar as a fucking snack again? No. But when it becomes instinctual, when 3 p.m. rolls around and you've been eating a piece of fruit for the last 30 days, you're more likely to automatically, habitually grab a piece of fruit than go for a chocolate bar. Most likely, for those of you who do afternoon snack on a chocolate bar or whatever it is, you don't even think about it. You just do it because you've made that a habit. So now we're trying to change that habit, you know? This is what we're trying to do here. So we make these behaviors into habits, it becomes something you keep for the rest of your life, which is another big thing I'm here for teaching clients. It's not to be like, hey, you want to lose weight, we're going to focus on these habits. It's, hey, I'm going to teach you this shit that you need to be doing every day for the rest of your life because it's going to keep you in a good weight range. You're going to have a regular appetite. You're going to be healthy and not fucking die earlier. And you're going to feel better for it, right? And you're going to have a better relationship with food because you're not fucking obsessively tracking. You're not being like, oh, I can fit this in or I can do this. It's like, we're just focusing on some good behaviors that have been proven to be health promoting. You know, simple, not easy, but simple. So what I want you to do now, again, download the Habit app or get a calendar, somewhere you can mark it every day so you know if you're moving in the right direction. You don't have to start with all these habits, okay? Like I want you guys to build up here. So pick I always want you to pick the movement habit first and just pick a goal for that movement habit, all right? With the other ones, just pick one of them. Pick whatever's easiest for you. I don't care if you don't start with protein. If you want to start with veggies, start with veggies. If you want to start with fruit, start with fruit. Just pick one of them, all right? And keep doing it and see how many days in a row you can be consistent with that. The more days in a row you're consistent, the more likely it is to be a habit, all right? They say a habit takes 21 days to build. Everyone's different. Some people require more time. Some people can do it less time. Some people require 21 days. So here's what I say. Aim for a month. Aim for a month of doing it every single day. That's why I said choose something that's realistic. Because if you're like, oh, I'm gonna start with protein. If you haven't been eating much protein at all, now you gotta start thinking about protein. You get 1.6 grams and you've been eating fuck all. That's a lot of effort to add in to try and get protein in, all right? And if you don't know much about protein or you haven't really done you haven't tracked properly or that type of stuff, it's very hard for you to start changing all of your meals to work on protein. It might be a lot easier for you just to add in a piece of fruit a day, all right? Or you might be eating fruit every day. So you're like, you know what? I've been shit with my veggies. I'm gonna start with veggies. Doesn't matter what it is. Because remember, like any habit you've got to add in, it's going to change your behavior. If you've been eating no veggies, well, now you're like, oh yeah, okay, twice I'm gonna eat some veggies. I'm gonna add veggies in. Well, all right. So how are you gonna do that? You're like, I'm gonna add it to lunch. All right, so what's that veggie gonna be? Does that mean you have to cook the veggie ahead of time? You know, do you have to, if you're gonna want, let's say you choose potatoes, do you have to boil the potatoes ahead of time? You know, do you have to make a big batch of mashed potato on a Sunday? Do you have to air fry to make some potato chips? What are you gonna do, right? What if you're like, fuck, I don't know. So it's like, this is why, take some time to think about what's realistic, because again, it's changing everything. And this is why, again, if you're doing 2,000 steps and I said aim for an extra 1,000, because if I'm like, you got to do 8,000 steps, you're now like, how do I get 5,000 extra steps in my day? When you've got habits and behaviors already in place that you're doing every single day, and to try and uproot that and change it all like this isn't going to happen. So be realistic, because guess what? When you tick it off for 30 days, it makes shit a lot easier, all right? And that's what I want you to do. Tick it off every day. Try and go for 30 days, all right? We're aiming for consistency here, not perfection. If you get 7,800 steps on one day, and you're like, oh, fuck, man, you missed a day. All right, keep going. Because guess what? It's better to do something than nothing. It's not like you get to the end of your day and you're like, I've done 4,000 steps. I've ruined my day. I've ruined all my progress. Like, all right, just get back on it tomorrow. How many X's in a row can you get? You're like, I got 7 in a row. I got the whole week and then I fell off on Monday. All right, well then guess what? Now you're gonna go for 8 X's in a row. And people, again, this is simple, but a lot of you are gonna learn how fucking hard this is to get some real simple shit in. But guess what? It's gonna lead to behavior change. And you got all the time in the world, okay? You have all the fucking time in the world. Why do you need to be done by 2023? Oh, gonna diet, gonna be lean, gonna be finished by the end of 2023. Why the fuck? No, you've got this for the rest of your life. Health and fitness for the rest of your life. If you just worked on getting, let's say, 1 veggie in every day for 30 days, okay? And you got a step count in every day for 30 days, and you started getting that consistency. And then you add in a piece of fruit for another 30 days, cool. Then you add in 1.6 grams of protein for 30 days, okay, cool. Then you're gonna add in a second serving of veggies, all right? It's been 3 months, you've been doing your steps every day, you've got protein, you've got fruit, you've got veggies, now you're adding up. In 4 months, you've still made huge changes, right? I hope that makes sense. Take it slow, be patient, tick off the simple shit. And if you're not doing it, don't fucking go and jump from A to B. Don't be like, yep, I'm gonna do this, and this, because it's never fucking worked. It's not gonna work this time. Swallow the ego, slow it down, choose the simple shit and build yourself up, okay? I go into more of this in the Good Enough Guide. So if those of you who are interested in the Good Enough Guide or coaching, you can click on the link below and check that stuff out. But if you guys enjoyed this podcast, I would love for you to share it and tag me on Instagram, because I always love being shared and knowing that you guys are watching it. And I hope it was helpful. Until next time, speak to you guys then.